You're watching LMCC, your community TV.
Hi, I'm Kellie Murphy-Ringate, Fire Marshal and Public Educator for the Excelsior Fire District, and welcome to First Responder TV, your local public safety source, featuring training exercises, safety tips, and much more. Here's what's coming up on First Responder TV. I'll introduce you to the Excelsior Fire District's new Fire Chief, Curt Mackey, in this edition of Meet the Chief. We'll learn why you close before you doze at the Excelsior Fire District's open house on Safety Source. The Deephaven Police Department spotlight the Vitals app on making a difference. Scam Alert will give you an update on scams that have been targeting citizens in the Lake area. Joining me today is Excelsior Fire District Fire Chief Curt Mackey. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Kelly.
We are going to start off by asking you about the journey of your career.
Well, my career really started with the fire service about 24 years ago. I had recently moved into the Hopkins area, and my brother-in-law was living with us while he attended school. And he was into the fire service. He wanted to be a firefighter. And my wife and I really hadn't thought much about it, but he said, if you would join with me, I would join the fire department. So we applied, we got on a list. It was about 6 months later, and they called back. Well, by that time, his plans had already changed, and he said, I'm moving. I'm not gonna get on the fire department. I looked at my wife, I said, should I get on? Are you okay with this? And we went through the whole, it's a big commitment, because then it became real, because initially I thought I would step away and he would join. But I joined, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It was really in my blood. It was in my thought process the whole time. And as soon as I got into it, I just started going to school. I just wanted to learn more and more. So continued to go to school, eventually looked at my transcripts and found out I'm close to associate's degree. Might as well. I started teaching with Hennepin Tech at that time, was recruited in by the instructors. Continued to do that, went up through the ranks to be a lieutenant within a short time, working at that ground level, then moved on to captain, and then eventually moved on to assistant chief at 10 years, which was fairly quick, but that's been the trend. And then went through quite a few years as assistant chief, became emergency management certified, did a lot of those types of things. And then as things progressed, I kind of got to where I could get no further as the assistant chief at Hopkins. And so that's when I first kind of started looking at different opportunities. And that was all paid on call, part-time positions. So in the meantime, I had my own appraisal business and had worked that for 15 years. And then at that turning point with Hopkins, I thought, I'm going to step outside of my comfort zone. And I went to work for MnDOT and became a real estate representative for them for 2 years. Absolutely loved it. It took me out of my comfort zone and put me in a completely different world. But with that came a tremendous amount of training again, and I just adapt to training so well. I absorb it and I like it. And so I got a ton of training in that first 2 years that I've been able to carry over to Excelsior. And so here I am, 24 years later, in a different city, in a different district, at the position that I guess I was always meant to be in.
So you have been the fire chief since June. Can you tell me some of the highlights that you've experienced so far?
Well, the biggest thing for me is the group. The fire department people or fire district members have been so accommodating. You know, I haven't had to fight any big obstacles. I haven't had to have any knockdown, drag out challenges with personnel. People have been, we want to see you succeed. We want to help. What can we do? You know, so that part was great. I think I came into a real warm, welcoming atmosphere. It's so huge. And then all the activities, when I came in, it was super busy. So we had the 4th of July, we had our annual dance, followed by the open house, the summer activities, the events that are going on because of the lake. And I really stepped back and thought, wow, this is way more than I thought it would be. And so just all the events and the activity, the group, and then ultimately the community. The community is super welcoming as well, and it made me feel like this is the best choice I could have made for this kind of a job.
So what did attract you to the Excelsior Fire District?
Part of it is a challenge. When I talked a little bit about stepping out of my comfort zone and going from self-employment to a big organization with MnDOT, with a career that I knew really well and had a lot of skill sets, this was the exact same step. It was like, I'm in this fire industry, a lot of talents, a lot of skills. Can I take those into a whole new environment and make a difference? So that appealed to me. It's 5 different communities represented as one that want to be the best they can possibly be. And with that comes all these small but yet large challenges that have to be addressed and understood and developed. I have a lot of different skill sets that will help this develop and grow in great ways. I'm really excited. I think the group's excited about the future of what that brings to the Excelsior Fire District and the community. I think the community's feeding off of it as well.
So you did mention that there's 5 cities in our district. Can you elaborate on the difference between a fire department and a fire district?
Everything is just 5 times more levels of communication, 5 different sets of interests. When you work for a fire department, specifically one city, the city has one interest. It's typically, here's our 5-year plan, here's our 10-year plan, and we build our goals and strategies around that. But yet with a district, you have 5 different cities that have some pretty specific, unique challenges, but then different goals as well. And so even though they're a group, you have to be sensitive to everybody's long-term interests and how do we fit into that mold? And so it just took everything and amplified it by 5 times, which is not bad. It's just different, and that's really what I was looking for.
You mentioned that you're talking about the future of the Excelsior Fire District. Can you tell us a little bit about what you see in the future?
We're looking at our history. We never did that well. When I started 20 plus years ago, they never referenced back about health and wellness and how we survive. It was all in the moment. This is what we're doing today, and this is how we're going to get it done. And so we're looking at trends, and we're looking at cancer rates and mental health and wellness and the big impact it has and how detrimental those numbers are to this industry. For the Excelsior Fire District, we're changing some of our models on how we staff and how we respond and what we do on fires now, how we hit them from the outside and don't go in because the survivability rate is less. And then when we're done, we decon, we wash, we launder our gear. Those are all different changes that we do fire service wide. And I'm bringing all those ideas and those changes to the district to not make us a more expensive place to be, but to protect the firefighters so they can retire and have a healthy, long life, but a better service to the district as well because we've got more staffing, predictable response at a lesser cost. And so just changing the model, how we operate based on the science and our history and the numbers are telling us that we're doing a lot of things wrong. We've got to get better and start doing things right. And it's my job to make that happen and make it happen for everybody because we're always better together than we are apart.
As a fire chief, what sets you apart from other fire chiefs?
1 is I'm approachable. 2 is I'm engaging. And 3 is I'm a good strategic planner. So when I'm approachable, people aren't afraid to come with new ideas, come with old ideas, challenge me. I'm not going to push back disrespectfully. I'm going to entertain everything, process it, triage it, and apply it where it's needed, or between the 2 of us, educate each other. And in engaging, I have a lot of enthusiasm. I just come here every day ready to go. I'm engaged. I want to know about everybody. I want to know about their family. I want to know about their extended family. I want to know what they're bringing through the door every day so I can help them be better here and be more productive. Then long strategic planning and implementing work programs. I've always had a good ability to look at every person and kind of put them on their own little work program. I know why they're here eventually and what makes them tick and why. Some people migrate to fire suppression, some migrate to prevention, some migrate to the medical side. Let's build up their strengths and work on their weaknesses. And I've always had a really good idea of how that manifests through them and then how to work with them and their captains to make that happen. So,
can you tell us about some of the committees that you're on, some of the organizations you're part of?
2 that I'm on that are really important to me, the FAST team and the All Hazards Emergency Management team. And that's a type 3 or lower event from basically tornadoes down to house fires. And these are all over the country, so you could be deployed anywhere in the country to go help out with a hurricane or a tornado. But to interject yourself into a system, pick up a role, stay in that lane, and be productive. So that's one area that I've really enjoyed. And then the FAST team is more of a local chief's resource for traumatic events, deaths, serious injuries, line of duty death, non-line of duty death injuries, anything that impacts organization where they need leadership to come in and just pick up the ball and continue to roll while they deal and grieve with that, like everybody has to. And so those are, and I'm a certified emergency manager, so I'm an AMIM, which again gives me that big global perspective of being prepared.
So can you tell us a little bit about your family?
Sure. I have a wife, Doreen. We've been together almost 30 years. I have a son, Noah, who's 17, who attends Minnetonka High School. He's the football manager currently, staying busy with that. A real outdoorsman, loves to be outside, hunt, fish. And then my oldest son is Derek. He's a senior at Bethel University in Arden Hills. He's an outdoorsman as well, but he's more of a techie. And then we, of course, have two dogs, Thurston, who's a Chihuahua, named after the Gilligan's Island cast, and then Billy, who's an Italian Greyhound, which is a medium-sized greyhound.
Is there anything else that you would like to add that I haven't asked you about today?
No, it's been a great experience. I get asked all the time, is it a good idea that you did this, and did you enjoy it? And I say I love it. It's been a great move for me, and we're really excited to be in Excelsior.
Well, thanks for spending time with us today.
Absolutely.
First Responder TV will be back after this short break.
Mike, I'm heading out to run some errands. Better get up soon. Mike, don't you have to go to work? Mike. Honey? Are you listening to me?
Mike, get up. Mike, wake up. Michael, get up. Honey, get up. Mike, baby, wake up.
The doors in your home are life-saving tools when they're closed. A closed door keeps the hot, black, icky smoke out of a room and can save the lives of your family and pets. Behind me, we have two rooms. One of these rooms is going to be started on fire, and the other room is just going to sit there. There's a hollow core door in between these rooms. One side's going to be up to 1700 degrees, the other side will be maybe 100. You are going to see the difference. And once we make you into believers, then I want you to go home and start closing that door. So, are we ready to go? Let's go! So behind me are two rooms. One room had a fire in it and the other one didn't have a fire in it. The difference between these rooms, or what's in between these rooms, is a hollow core door. A simple door that was bought at one of the big box stores locally. In this room, on this side, the temperature probably got up to about 1700 degrees. On this side, maybe 100. The only thing between these was a hollow core door. That door kept the hot, black, icky smoke from this fire from getting into this room. There's so much plastic or petroleum in the things we own these days that those fires grow very fast, very toxic, and very black. But again, you have a tool in your home to prevent this hot, black, icky smoke from entering the room that you're sleeping in. Now, when I say the room you're sleeping in, I mean any room. any room with a door. So if you fall asleep in the den, you fall asleep in the guest room, close the door before you doze. And again, one door is the difference between hot black icky smoke and getting up and having coffee. We'd like to spotlight a member of the community that goes above and beyond in our segment, Making a Difference. This month is Deephaven Police Department's use of the Vitals app.
The Vitals app was actually created to be a bridge between first responders and anybody who maybe can't speak for themselves. And that oftentimes could be somebody with developmental disabilities, with mental disabilities, or even just mental illness, anything that we would like to know before responding to a situation. Here in Deephaven, all of our officers carry a smartphone. All of our smartphones act as a beacon. For a user, they're going to carry a beacon with them, whether that be a little fob, just something that they can wear on their person that would be with them at all times, or if it's the phone, and the app can also act as a beacon. And what they would do is fill out all the information that they would want a first responder to know. And when we're within 80 feet of somebody with a beacon, our phone will alert us and give us that information. They can give information to first responders such as triggers. They can give information such as their caretaker's name and phone number and things that can calm them down. Sometimes, things that we can do to help diffuse the situation. And those are things that we really look for and we really try to utilize to the best of our intent, because oftentimes people, whether it be autistic people or people with mental illness, they can present themselves in a way that seems dangerous or seems threatening. And as a law enforcement agent especially, that's something that we try to make sure that we're making a good, clear distinction between and responding accordingly. It's really been tested and used for and has been really proven to have great results as autistic children. So maybe this child's sensitive to loud noises or lights and sirens, and so that would be something that we could look at and say, well, that's not how I want to show up to that situation. In addition to that, they can also give us information about things that calm them down, or things that we can talk about that would help them kind of get centered back. The more we get the word out to the public that it's something that we're using, the more it's being utilized. It's always our goal to increase the public's trust in us, and we just want to do the best that we can in terms of giving people the right kind of response and the right kind of care and making sure that we keep everyone safe.
LMCC Community Television has come a long way since its inception in 1984.
Buongiorno, friends. We've got an exciting show for you today. Today's secret Yellow Pages letter is B. All right, let's get to it.
Yeesh. Did anyone actually watch this program? But now, LMCC's high-definition evolution is complete. Introducing Community Channel 12 in HD. Watch high school sports, concerts, and LMCC's award-winning original programming in crystal clear HD. Your community TV, now in HD.
Bremer Bank, St. Anthony, Maine. Bremer Bank, Richfield.
Welcome back to First Responder TV. It's time for Scam Alert. This segment alerts the public on scams that have been reported to local police departments.
The Hennepin County Sheriff's Office is warning residents about telephone scams where individuals pose as representatives of local law enforcement agencies. These scammers tell residents that there's a warrant out for their arrest because they missed a federal jury date. They're told that they'll be arrested unless they pay a fine and suggest purchasing gift cards and providing them the numbers. The victim is then told to contact their local sheriff's office to get a federal number for proof that the warrant is clear. Law enforcement agencies will never contact individuals via phone or email to ask for any kind of payment. Individuals should not rely on caller ID or recorded messages to verify the origin of a phone call. Phone scammers are able to use technology to appear as if they are calling from a legitimate law enforcement or government agency. If you receive such a call, do not provide any personal information to the caller. Instead, record the caller's number and contact your local law enforcement agency. As tech-savvy as college students can be, a surprising number of scams reported to Better Business Bureau of Minnesota and North Dakota's Scam Tracker are from students who learned their lesson too late. Students, who are freshly exposed to managing their own finances, are usually looking online for ways to save. Be wary of fake credit card offers. Some credit card deals could be a gimmick to get a student's personal information, and it could potentially stir up credit problems. Do your research on those credit card flyers and read the fine print before applying. Check your credit score regularly. It's a helpful signifier of any unusual activity and possible ID fraud. While there are multiple traps online trying to snag your social security number with a fake credit score scam, you can safely check your credit score at annualcreditreport.com. In 2018, employment scams were the #1 culprit for scams attacking 18 to 25-year-olds. Job offerings can be sent directly to school emails, which promise flexible hours and beyond expected pay. However, there's never a need to send a social security number electronically without knowing exactly who you are sending it to. Use Scam Tracker to learn of the latest scam trends and read local reports of specific incidents at bbb.org/scamtracker. Business email compromise fraud is an email phishing scam that typically targets people who pay bills in businesses, government, and nonprofit organizations. The scammer poses as a reliable source who sends an email from a spoofed account and asks them to wire money, buy gift cards, or send personal information, often for a seemingly plausible reason. The most common types of emails involve a chief executive officer asking to wire money to someone, executives requesting copies of employee tax information, or even an employer or clergyman asking the recipient to buy gift cards on their behalf. BBB urges businesses and other organizations to take technical precautions, such as multi-factor authentication for email logins and other additional security changes in email settings. You should also always confirm suspicious requests by phone before acting on them. If an organization finds that it has been a victim of a business email compromise fraud, it needs to immediately call its bank to stop the payment and report it to the FBI. If a report is filed within 48 hours, there's a chance the money can be recovered. File a complaint with the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center at ic3.gov.
Thanks for watching First Responder TV, your local public safety source. If you have an idea for a segment, an upcoming public safety or fire prevention event, please let us know. This is Kellie Murphy-Ringate giving you information you can use, share, and live by. See you next time.